Hey there, hi there, hello there, Nick here. Today I'm going to be bringing you along with me on a journey to an almost forgotten town in Washington state called Mineral. We started our journey in Enumclaw. It was a beautiful day, sun was out and everything was warm. As we drove out to Mineral, I was mildly apprehensive. We had previously driven out to Carbonado a couple of weeks back, and I knew that we would have zero cell phone reception for most of the time that we were out there. As a child that grew up without a phone attached to me, it was strange to feel so vulnerable when I'm not connected. Right before this trip started, we got our Amazon delivery of a new camera. This one is cheap, $40, but claims it can film in 4K at 60 frames per second. We would like to start filming our drives from outside the car so we can get a cooler perspective. Having a mildly disposable camera will enable that for us. If you have any sage wisdom about how to safely make this happen, please comment below. We forgot to grab its SD card, so we hunted for one at Walgreens and Verizon. After blowing the dust off the stock at both places, it was clear we were going to need a larger town. Thankfully, the town of Bonnie Lake is nearby with a Walmart. After a quick stop and SD card acquired, we headed out to South Prairie Road. If the town of South Prairie didn't make you slow down to 25 miles an hour as you went through, you might miss that it's a town. Finally, we could really start heading south, and off we went to Electron, which has a close sister city, Kapowsin. Kapowsin was named off folklore about Chief Kapowsin, who supposedly lived off of Lake Kapowsin and was extremely overbearing to the point he was said to rule with an iron fist. However, there is no evidence to show that there ever was a Chief Kapowsin, and it's stated as a fictitious story by the Nisqually tribe. Outside of the Wikipedia article, I couldn't collaborate the story of how it got its name, actually. I did find many stories talking about how it was a boon town with all the sins you could have in the 1880s. The glory of this city now is its peace and serenity. Taking a left down Meridian Avenue, also known as State Route 161, we passed through Clear Lake with a new mission, the need to find a restroom. Thankfully, the wonderful little town of Eatonville has a public bathroom. The air felt electric to the touch almost as the live music wafted over the town. We didn't stay here long as we had a goal, to get to the Mineral General Store before it closed. Taking the Alder Cutoff Road out of town, we enjoyed the forest that surrounds us before having Alder Lake suddenly take over our view. Taking another left, we turn onto one of the more serene highways we get to drive this trip, unassumingly called Mountain Highway East. Its path alongside Alder Lake was beautiful, and we noted the state park Rocky Point, promising ourselves a stop here on our way back home. Passing through the town of Elby, we head down State Route 7 until we see the signs for Mineral and Lake Mineral. I feel like the sign and its condition are a reflection of the town. It's clearly been here a while and it's dinged and dented, but it still does its job. As we drove into town, there are signs in people's yards saying no rezoning. Unaware of the current tension between the town and the big bad corporation of... Wait, what? Okay, let me read that again. Please, just one more time. It's the YMCA? Since it was 6:40 p.m. and this little store closed at 7, I didn't have time just yet to think about the town drama, as I wanted to see what a little store like this would have. I was not disappointed. The store had things you would expect from a small general store. Soda, pop, beer, ice cream, and some stuff for fishing. But unexpectedly, they also had an aisle with handmade, crafted items. For $30, I walked away with this wonderful artwork of owls. I'm excited for my find. It is a wonderful memento to remember the day. The shopkeeper was really friendly and explained that normally this aisle would have even more goodies from local artists, but that since the store was up for sale, they had allowed the stock to dwindle as the future of the store is unknown. Now that we had achieved our goal of getting to Mineral Market before it closed, we were eager to see Mineral Lake. We went to the public boat launch and walked down into the water. This lake is a popular fishing spot and is stocked with trout. It was surprisingly warm. While yes, it was a hot day, normally lakes up in the mountain like this get fed by mountain runoff. Generally, they are really cold. Finding for swimming attire was at its peak as we splashed our feet in the shallows. Mineral Lake Lodge has a wonderful website that lists a bunch of activities in the area, and two of these that I wanted to go see was the recycled spirits of Iron Sculpture Park, and to eat at a restaurant called Wildberries. We headed back towards Elbe and headed down Highway 706, quickly arriving at the Iron Sculpture Park, also known as Ex Nihilo Park, which is Latin for something made from nothing. I feel like this name was extremely fitting for the park, as everything here was living a second life. I wish I had known that this park seemed to be attached to someone's property. When we pulled in, there was a sign pointing for the park, but then it had the road blocked. It didn't seem like we should be there, so we filmed from outside the park fence, didn't stay long, and then took off. Due to the lack of short-term memory on my part, and the total lack of cell phone reception in the area, we couldn't remember the name of the restaurant. Thinking it was called Blackberry Bunkhouse, we headed to what turned out to be a residential neighborhood. Blackberry Bunkhouse does not exist, so we headed into Ashford to see what we could find for food. There was an event in town for some walk/runathon, and it was overloaded with people. As we drove past Ashford to see if there was anything else, but not seeing much, we decided it would be best to leave Ashford before everyone else did, since the area isn't really set up to handle as many people as had flooded the little town. As we head back through Elbe, we stopped at Rocky Point and put our feet into Alder Lake. This lake was chilly, as was expected for the area. The call of nature made us cut our stay short, and we went through Alder this time. If you head this direction, take the cutoff road back if you are going to head via Eatonville, and avoid National Park Highway after Alder. This highway is a bunch of sharp corners and blind turns, and you might end up, like me, having an impatient SUV trying to push you down this road. This was the most white-knuckled part of my drive, and I was happy to get back onto State Route 161, finally getting into Eatonville to find sweet relief. From here, we backtracked, only stopping in Clear Lake to snap a few pictures of Mount Rainier until we ended up at Red Robin for dinner. Can I just say that I was blown away by the food? My fondue burger was amazing, which is a lot to say for Red Robin. At this point, we decided to look more into the no rezoning signs and the no YMCA signs. It would seem that the YMCA of Greater Seattle is trying to put in a youth summer camp. They claim to only want to develop 10 acres of land out of 643, and to support up to 100 staff with 400 campers. This is proposed to happen in stages and over the coming years, starting small and building out to the numbers stated. They are trying to claim that there would be no impact. That's where I disagree with the YMCA and can understand the plight of the locals. The population of this little town as of 2020 is 135. Given that some people won't respond to the census, it's safe to put a population number around 200. The YMCA is talking about bringing in more than double the amount of people into this area that actually live here. The people from YMCA are straight lying when they say it's not going to cause change. Humans have changed the earth at every turn to suit our needs. Bring humans into an area that has no humans, and they will change it. The infrastructure in this area also seems outdated. Most of the roads were clearly a decade out from the last time they were resurfaced and smooth. The YMCA does admit that the area needs to have help when it comes to the roads and infrastructure, meaning they know they would bring change. Surprisingly to me, the Nisqually Indian tribe is a vocal party in this, giving support to the YMCA, stating that this was their sacred land, which is very true. It helps, though, that the YMCA is greasing the wheels of getting the tribe's support by offering to add, as quoted from Tribal Council Chair Willie Frank III, to create a Native American program and environmental education center to share our ways and to protect Mother Earth for the 7th generation. We also recognize that the more people know about our natural world, the more likely they are to protect it. Frank also said, education is key to our future. Do I think this exchange between the tribe and the YMCA is a bad thing? No. I merely wanted to point out that it wasn't the tribe freely giving without receiving something, and that something is kind of a gift to everyone. Being someone who has had access to a similar program as a child, it really gives me a centering for loving Mother Earth and wanting her to be able to continue to support life by supporting her. I do find it strange that a Christian-based organization would allow these teachings at their summer camp, which is why something here feels suspicious, but I have nothing to show that it is. My real question is, how long can Mineral survive without the injection of new life or industry? Outside of the general store, which is being sold off, and some campgrounds and a few lodges, this town is dying. One of the things I found during the census was that the town's population is declining, and the age of the town inhabitants is only getting older. Unless there is something to bring people here, there isn't a real reason for this town to live on. I mean, I only came to Mineral because they had the funky little general store, and that store has a for sale sign. I understand wanting to protect your way of life and land, especially as the tract they want to develop is currently untouched and is being stated to be pristine by locals. The pressure the camp will put onto that part of the forest, just occupying the little bit they claim to out of the 643 acres, new roads would have to be put in. And while I couldn't find anything to support this, I suspect they will put hiking paths through the forest around the camp. As with every situation, the pros and cons get weighed out by the elected. Lewis County commissioners have weighed in on this twice, both times voting no. The first time unanimously, and the second time with one commissioner giving support with a bunch of strings attached, or as they call them in court talk, stipulations. As a person who has no horse in the race, it's hard not to want to root for the small town underdog against what has been described in a summarizing of Ron Nielsen's word, Seattle, etc. want to own some of the waterfront property for their greed. That said, there are locals in support of it too, wanting the camp to come in, and driving around the town, most people didn't have no rezoning signs. The only thing I can say for sure, I don't think this will be the last time the camp is voted on by the commissioners. I am not a reporter and was merely being distracted by some small town news. I wanted to thank you for coming along on our journey today. Till next time, buddies.